Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mark, and in this channel, I talk a bit about lifestyle, but I mostly talk about personal finance and investments. In past videos, I've shared with you a series of videos on how to get your Airbnb started, from selecting your hosting platform and assessing which condominium developers are more likely to allow you to Airbnb your place. I've also shared with you what are the 5 essential appliances for you to get your Airbnb started. Now that your place is ready and you've taken your pictures, you've even made a good write-up about your place, there's nothing else to do but to start hosting guests. I know this might be a scary time, you don't know how to get started, or whether or not you can really do this. So in this video, this is what we'll cover. These are the things that you should keep in mind as you start your Airbnb operations. And without further ado, let's go! So you're just about ready to start hosting guests in your home. You've had a few inquiries. In fact, you have your next guest coming in just a few days. I know it's a scary time, so let's make a checklist of what you need to cover in really starting and making sure that your Airbnb is run like a well-oiled machine. So let's start with the heart of the business, which is cleaning. With this, you're now faced with the question, who actually does the cleaning? The cheapest way would of course be to do this yourself. But I know you probably don't have the time, especially if this is just your side hustle, if this is your investment that you're trying to monetize. So what you need to do is to find someone that you trust and do this cleaning for you. Perhaps you have contacts or referrals from your known acquaintances. I truthfully do some of the cleaning myself, but for the most part, what I use is the Good Work app. So Good Work pretty much works like Grab. You can select the schedule of when you want your cleaner to come in. Of course, one of the challenges when you're not cleaning the unit yourself would be having to check on the unit anyway. Maybe you can ask the cleaner to take pictures or even videos of the unit after he or she is done with the cleaning of your place. So if you're interested with Good Work, I'm gonna share the link down below. That's the first thing that you should consider and cover when you are running your Airbnb operations. This leads us to point number 2, and this point may actually be overlooked and maybe taken for granted by most people who are wanting to get started on Airbnb. And this is in regards to key exchange. This seems like a menial task. It seems pretty easy. I mean, you just have to hand over the key to your guest. But the thing with guest check-ins is that the schedule is very erratic. Some guests will tell you that they're already nearby, they're already on the way, but they're actually hours away from checking in. The most efficient way in addressing this would be to utilize a lockbox. So a lockbox is exactly that. So it's a box where you can leave your key and it can be opened by a unique password. So the password is something that you can routinely change. So this is a device that you can leave your key in so that you are not forever waiting for your guest. But one of the problems here is that not all condominiums are allowing the use of lockbox. Understandably, some condos actually want the guest to be assisted by the homeowner or the homeowner's representative. Of course, you can't blame the condo admin since they're just trying to keep the security of the condo. So this would be a little tricky. Perhaps the cleaner that you hired can also do the key exchange. But of course, if you're using the app, as mentioned earlier, they're not going to be amenable to that. So this is something that unfortunately, there is no clear silver bullet. This is something that you're going to have to work out. Maybe just work closely with your guest and try to get a straight answer from your guest what time he or she is arriving, especially when the condo is not allowing self-check-in via a lockbox. Let's move on to number 3, and this would be regarding guest support or special requests that are being asked for by the guests. The thing with guests is a lot of them like to ask these simple questions. Sometimes it's just a matter of how to operate the TV, how to turn on the air conditioning, how to turn on the hot and cold shower, and so on and so forth. I know that you as an Airbnb host are not a call center, so it's probably good to tell the guests that you are not available, let's say from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. You don't have staff on call to be able to reply to them, and you're only probably available for something that's really urgent. So that's something that you're gonna have to manage with the guests as well regarding how much you can be on call. Some guests will be demanding and you just have to manage it properly so that you are not stressed out and drained from all of this. And regarding special guests requests, there are some guests that would ask for extra towels, extra blankets, and the big problem here is you probably don't live nearby the condo or your Airbnb property. It's also good to set in your house rules about what to do in terms of special requests. Perhaps you can charge them for extra things that they ask for. You can also ask them for the transportation fee for transporting whatever it is from your house to the condo. So you can use any of the available couriers in your area, whether it's Borzo, Grab, or Lalamove. These service providers are available to you, but regarding who covers the cost, that is something that you also have to work out with the guest. And as I always say, it's always good to put these in the house rules so that the guest would always know what to expect, so that we lessen the frustration. Lastly, let's move on to the fourth thing that you should keep in mind in running your Airbnb operations. So your guest is successfully checked in, you've done the key exchange, and you've been lucky enough to get a good guest who is not requesting for too much. The guest is able to check out, full circle. We're now going to start it all over again. Now we talk about the other heart of the business, which is the laundry. Now, laundry is actually quite tricky because it can be one of the more expensive things that you didn't factor in terms of your original pricing. So of course, the cheapest way to go about laundry would be washing them yourselves. But again, you probably have a day job. Most of us don't have the space for a washing machine. More so, the place to be drying out and airing the towels and bed sheets and blankets. So perhaps the easiest way to go about this would be sending your laundry out. You can go to a laundry place where they do the wash, dry, and fold. You can also use the app that I mentioned earlier. Good Work also has a section for laundry pickup. With the pickup service, it becomes a little bit more expensive, but the trade-off of this would be your own personal time, whether it's your other side hustle or other opportunities that you're working in, or maybe quality time with your family and loved ones. And the thing with laundry is figuring out how many sets of towels, linens, pillowcases, and blankets you actually need. At the start, it's going to be okay. Maybe you only need one or two. But as you start hosting more guests, you have consecutive bookings, then you have to sort out and properly plan out how much of your beddings, your linens, and your towels you actually have to have on reserve, just in case there are also accidents that happen along the way. So that's about it. Again, there's no silver bullet for all these things. With these different factors and variables in place, now you can also have a target figure in mind on what would be the optimal pricing of your place. Of course, you can't price too high that no one books it, but you also have to price in such a way that it becomes worth your time. I know it might sound all intimidating, but trust me, it actually gets easier as you go along. Just like with anything, just get the ball rolling. You're gonna make some mistakes here and there, but that's alright. Give yourself the time to really figure it out. And yes, I know it sounds all daunting and maybe you don't have the time. As mentioned in previous videos, I offer my service for homeowners who are looking for an Airbnb partner, preferably in Metro Manila. I'm looking at BGC, Newport, or other nearby areas. Of course, I'm happy to look at your property. Even if you are outside these areas, you can still pretty much use it whenever you want and rid yourself of the hassle of everything that I've just talked about. Source it out to me, and I'll take care of running your place as an Airbnb. If you'd like to explore this Airbnb partnership, send me a DM in my Instagram account. No pressure, let's see if we can work together. If you've liked this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, guys, and happy Airbnb.